أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين قال الله تعالى في كلامه المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد اللهم صل على محمد و آل Muhammad. First of all, I congratulate to all the Mu'mineen and Mu'minat on this great occasion, which is the birthday of Hazrat Abbas ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. I have recited one of a very famous Quranic verse, which is verse number 59 in surah number 4, surah An-Nisa. We all know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving this command to all the humanity and human beings that you must be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His Prophet, and then the Ulil Amr. Inshallah, later on I will explain. Today, inshallah, we will talk about the personality of this great general of Imam Hussain alayhi salam's army in Karbala, Hazrat Abbas ibn Ali. We all normally hear about Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam in the Battle of Karbala. Apart from Battle of Karbala, we have very less understanding the character of this great personality. When it comes to some of the characteristics of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, those characteristics are very high. And apart from Masumiyat Kubra, we can see everything within this great personality. I've got 5 points to discuss about this great personality. And these characteristics of Hazrat Abbas is, number one is the steadfastness in faith, that Iman Ustuwar. This is the first quality. And then the second quality, inshallah, we will discuss is Ash-Shuja'a. That is the bravery of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. And the third point is the loyalty, al-Wafa. And fourth is the kindness, which is Ra'ufiyat, and Adab, the manners, the etiquette of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. And the fifth great personality's characteristic is the Wilaya. We will discuss these 5 points, inshallah, within our time. The very first one, which is the steadfastness in faith, Iman Ustawar. Before we talk about Iman Ustawar, there is another side of Iman, which is Imanul Ariya, like taking something for rent. For example, Al-Ariya is called when we take something on rent. There is one of the dua of Imam Kazim alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam says that always recite this dua, Allahumma la taj'alni minal mu'areen, that, oh my Lord, don't make me among those people, they have faith which comes and goes. That is the Arya means. When it suits me, that I have the faith. When it doesn't suit me, I don't have the faith. So I give you one example of one personality from the history, which is Shabbas ibn Rabi. Shabbas ibn Rabi. This person, we see him that in the battle of Siffin, he was with Imam Ali alayhi salam. In the battle of Camel, which is the battle of Jamal, he was with Imam Ali alayhi salam. But when we see in the Nahrawan, when Imam Ali alayhi salam fought against Kharijin, he was among them and he was fighting against Imam Ali alayhi salam. And then later on we see that this person, he comes to Imam Hassan Mustafa alayhi salam And after the compromise with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, we see this person is going towards the government. And then we see that this person in the Karbala is among the enemies and the killers, the Qatileen, Imam Hussein, wa other shuhada. He is fighting against them in Karbala. And then when we see the revolution from Hazrat Mukhtar, and especially before that, the revolution of Tawabin, who was led by Suleiman Surad Khazai, we see the same personality is asking the recompensation of the blood of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he is with sometime with Mukhtar and sometime with Tawabin. So this is called Iman bil Ariya, that this person has got faith, but this faith is not firm. Now, when we talk about Iman Ustawar, we see that Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam is a great personality, and he was brought up by Imam Ali alayhi salam, first Masoom in Hazrat Abbas' life, then Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and then Imam Zainul Abidin. And the mother of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, Janabe al-Banin, she was a great and pious lady. We see that the faith of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was so firm, as it's been said in one of the hadiths, that even a mountain can move from its place, but when it comes to the faith of Mu'min's faith will never be shaken. But when we look at Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, that he was on a rank that the only difference between him and Imam Masoom is the Masoomiyah and Imamat. But he was such an obedient personality towards the Imam of his time. There is one of a dua which is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, that when a person came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and he asked that, Mawla, teach me any dua so I can have Iman Ustawar, that steadfastness in faith. Imam alayhi salam gave him this great dua. Inshallah, I quickly read this dua for our brothers and sisters. It is very easy to remember as well. Imam alayhi salam said that always read this namaz. What is this dua? Imam alayhi salam said that Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Razitu billahi Rabba, that I am happy that Allah is my Lord. Wa bi Muhammadin Nabiyya, and being Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is my Nabi, my Prophet. Wa bil Islam Deena, and the religion Islam is my religion. Wa bil Quran Kitaba, and Quran is my book. Wa bil Kaabati Qibla, and Kaaba is my Qibla. Wa bi Aliyin Waliyyan wa Imam, that Ali is my Wali and Imam. And then you give the Shahada of rest of the 11 Imams. So this dua is recommended by the Masumeen alayhim salam, that if someone need steadfastness in the Iman. Second quality of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam is the bravery. When we talk about bravery, we think that the bravery is the only thing that when you are fighting, a person is fighting against few people and overcome those few people. This is one kind of bravery, but bravery has several kinds. For example, fighting against the enemy and standing with the steadfastness and overcoming the enemies. This is one of the bravery. But then keeping your taqwa intact, because we have to live our life with the taqwa, and keeping your life with taqwa, this is another kind of bravery. And then when we are trying our best to get something good, whatever we trying, but nothing is going right, in that case we have to be patient. This is the bravery with the patience. And then I have a choice between right and wrong, haq and batil, halal and haram. but I always choose the right thing. So this is a bravery when it comes to choose something. And the other thing is, the most greatest bravery is that in my life I have a goal to achieve. And to achieve this goal, whatever comes in the way, I will tackle those problems. This is another kind of bravery. When it comes to the life of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, he was absolutely complete in all sorts of bravery. When it comes to the piety, he was the great pious person. When it comes to the fighting against the enemy, one of the khutbah of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, which he delivered on the roof of Kaaba, I don't have time to explain this, but that shows the bravery when he was challenging hundreds and thousands of people standing on the roof of Kaaba, and he said that you are against this Hussein. It is Hussein who gave honor the Kaaba to come into the Kaaba. If it was not the masliha of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Kaaba would come and do the circumambulation, the tawaf of Hussein alayhi salam. So this is the second thing which was as a utmost quality of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. The third quality is the loyalty. This is another one. Now, loyalty, when it comes to being al-wafa or loyal, who can question about the loyalty of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam? And you only can be a loyal person when you have a very firm faith and you are one of a shuja person. You know this is your destination to achieve, and you are 100% loyal towards your goal to achieve. The other thing is, when it comes to being a loyal person, there will be absolutely no difference between the saying and between the action. This is another kind of loyalty. And the other thing is that when you are committed with your leader and with your mission, that you always be loyal to your leader and with your mission. Fourth thing which was great in Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, that is the kindness and the great manners, akhlaq. When we see in the Quran, one of the Quranic verse which is in Surah al-Fadhl, Surah number 48 and verse number 29, which is the last verse, and this verse start with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Muhammadur Rasulullah. What is the personality of Abbas? Being the most kind person, Rauf person, Muhammadur Rasulullah. That Muhammad is the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَاهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُمْ تَرَاهُمْ رُكَّعًا سُجَّدًا سِيمَاهُمْ. Now this is great verse about Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. When we hear from the pulpit and from other places about Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, it comes into our mind a person with such a angry person. No, this is not the personality of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, because Abbas alayhi salam was brought up by Hazrat Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam Hassan Mujtaba, Imam Hussein, and Janab Zainab and Hazrat al-Banin. So he was a compact result of these great personalities, and whatever great manners these personality had, Abbas had all these great personalities. Yes, he was Shadid, he was Ashidda, but against who? Against the Kuffar. But he was so lenient and so soft towards the Mu'mineen. When Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, when he had the permission to get the water, he went to get the water. On the way, first, the people, they were about 4,000. They came to stop Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam to reach the river. But when he was traveling towards that, Ashiddau alal kuffar, whoever was looking at the face of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, they were not able to stand in the way of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam. But when he got into the river, he put his hand into the water and he lifted the water and he looked at the water. Now how Rauf and kindness he is showing towards the mu'mineen, towards the children of Ahlul Bayt. And there's a word you can find in the books of Maqtal where Abbas says, looked at the water, said, "O Nafse Abbas, you can't even think about drinking water because Hussein is thirsty and the children of Hussein are thirsty." And then Hazrat Abbas والسلام, he throws everything which was in his hand as water back onto the water in the river. So we see that Abbas, when it comes to the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and when it comes to the enemies of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, he was so shadeed, so tough and so hard. But when it comes to mu'mineen, he was the most rauf person. And what are the other qualities of the people with these qualities? Kindness and etiquette, Islamic manners. One of the historians says that I was not in the battle of Karbala and I joined the caravan from Kufa. I've seen there was one head which was hung in the neck of the horse. I can see the face. This person was a very young, because some of the historians says that he was 36 or 37 and some says 32 or 34. There are different narrations for Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam's age, but a very young one, beautiful face. Who was Hazrat Abbas? Qamar Bani Hashim, the moon of Bani Hashim. This person said I looked at the face of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, and the amazing thing I've seen that on his face there were two big spots, one on the forehead and one on the nose. We all know while we are performing sajda, 7 parts of our body must be touching the ground, but the 8th one is the top part of the nose, that is mustahab. But this person says that I've seen the big marks on the top of the nose and a big mark on the forehead, and I was amazingly shocked that this person looks very young, very beautiful young person. But look at these qualities of Abbas. He was kind, with great manners, and these mark of sajdas on his forehead and on his nose. The 5th and final quality for today is the quality of wilaya. Now, when we read the ziyarat of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, this ziyarat is from our 6th Imam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. There are 2 of the words, al-muti'u lillahi wa li rasulih, that he was 100% surrendered to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, complete submission. He was complete muti to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's holy prophet. And when it comes to the obedience of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, we see that in 50 Hijrah, when Hazrat Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salam was poisoned by the enemies, that he was the person with great grief and anger, and he was keep asking Imam Hussein alayhi salam, "Oh my Lord, oh my Mawla, please tell me who are the enemies behind. If Abbas is still alive and the killers of Hassan Mujtaba, if they are alive, then what is the purpose of my life?" But look at the state of the obedience of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. That Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, "Abbas, calm down." And Abbas didn't say anything. Then the janazah of Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salam comes out from the house. And when it was brought before the grave of the Holy Prophet, the enemy attacked, and there were 70 arrows which were in the body of Imam Hassan Mujtaba. Hazrat Abbas took out the sword, but instead of going towards the enemy, he was looking at the face of Imam Hussain al-Islam. But he saw Imam Hussain al-Islam was absolutely calm. Imam Hussain al-Islam looked at Abbas, and with his eyebrows he made a sign, "No, Abbas." And Abbas put his sword back into the water. Now we see second time. And then another time when Walid called Imam Hussain al-Islam in the courtyard on the night of 28th Rajab, and he commanded Nauzubillah to Imam Hussain al-Islam to take the oath of allegiance for Yazid. And that was the time when Marwan said that don't give a chance to Hussain al-Islam to get away from here. If he escapes now, then we will not be able to grab him. It is the great time to just behead Hussain al-Islam. And we see that Abbas, he put his hand to the door, and the door was in the air. He came inside and he was standing there. But Imam Hussain said, "Abbas, quiet," and Abbas was quiet. Then they left Medina. They stayed in Makkah for a few months, and from Makkah they left for Kufa, and in between when they had to turn towards Karbala, second Muharram, they reached Karbala. They put their tent next to the river, and when Hur comes and other army comes, they said, "You have to take your tents off from here." And Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, he put his hand to the sword and he took out the sword. But Hazrat Abbas, when he took out the sword, what did Imam Hussain said? Imam Hussain al-Islam said that, "Oh my brother, put this sword back and just take the tents off." It was very, very difficult for Hazrat Abbas al-Islam. But who was Hazrat Abbas? Completely surrendered, submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to his prophet and to the Imam of his time. He said, "Chashm, that is fine." And Hazrat Abbas didn't do anything. After that, on the 10th of Muharram, one by one, all the companion of Imam Hussain al-Islam, they went into the battleground. They lost their lives. They become shaheed. And then the time for the young ones from Bani Hashim, when on Muhammad, they got killed. Hazrat Abbas came fourth or fifth time before Imam Hussain al-Islam. He said, "Mawla or Aka, please, please give me the permission to go into the battlefield, because the life, there is absolutely no charm left for Abbas in this life." But then Imam Hussain al-Islam said to Abbas, "Abbas, not yet." We see that this great personality, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wasalam, he is a role model of bravery, loyalty, and being follower of the wilaya, and being the muti of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his prophet, and the muti, the obedience to the Imam of his time. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us this strength so we can bring these great qualities. We follow the footsteps of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salatu wassalam. That inshallah ta'ala, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this effort in his bargah. Let us recite Dua Imam Zamana together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyyaka al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abai في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوى وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Let us recite Ziyarat Hazrat Abbas together. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. السلام عليك أيها العبد الصالح المطيع لله ولرسوله ولأمير المؤمنين والحسن والحسين صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته.